Let's review the Unit 1A concepts. We're going to go over integer operations, decimal operations, and a single multi-step word problem before you start work on your test review. If you need to re-watch this video or pause it or rewind or listen to a specific part again, this is linked on Schoology and you're more than welcome to watch it later in the day. All right, let's start with looking at our integer operations. Go ahead and write down these expressions. We're going to start with addition, then go subtraction, multiplication, and division. So make sure you have these written down on your copy, which should be in Notability. And we're going to start by adding these integers. Negative 25 plus 46. When we see addition, we're going to immediately draw our t-chart and place these numbers into the t-chart. In this case, they're on different sides. When our values are on different sides of the t-chart, we're going to subtract these two values. So 46 minus 25. When I subtract these, I get 21. Then I'm going to check back on my t-chart. For this problem, the higher number or the higher value in our t-chart is 46. So our final answer is positive 21. When we see subtraction, anytime we see subtraction, we're going to start by doing keep, add, opposite. When I do that, I get 33 plus the opposite of 51, which is negative 51. Now that it's addition, we get to do our t-chart. 33 goes on the positive side, and 51 goes on the negative side. Again, we have two values that are on different sides, so we're going to do 51 minus 33. And then we subtract like we normally would. I can't take 3 away from 1, so I'm going to borrow from 5, which makes that a 4, and makes this 1 and 11. And then 11 minus 3 is 8, and 4 minus 3 is 1, so I get 18. I then check the t-chart. In this case, 51 is the bigger number, and it is a negative value, so our final answer is negative 18. Next up, multiplication. When we're multiplying with positive and negative numbers, which are our integers, we're going to always start with Dorito Man, tic-tac-toe, or remembering the rule. In this problem, we have negative 3, which uses up one of those negatives, multiplied by 17, which is a positive number. That just leaves a negative sign for our final answer, and then I stack these digits and multiply like I normally would. 3 times 7 is 21, 3 times 1 is 3, plus the 2 gives me a 5, so my final answer is negative 51. And then division. For division, we can also use Dorito Man, tic-tac-toe, or remember the rule. But in this case, they're both positive numbers, so I know my final answer is also positive. Whatever our first number is goes on the inside of our division. Then we divide by the number that's second. 3 can go into 4 one time. 1 times 3 is 3. I subtract those and I get 1. I then bring down the 7. 3 goes into 17 5 times without going over, which gives me 15. And then I have 2. In 7th grade, we do not have remainders. That does not happen. Instead, what we're going to do is add a decimal point, and then we can bring a 0 in. We get 20. That's going to work 6 times, which gives us 18. Oh, and I see that this pattern of 2 and a decimal of 6 continues. In that case, we can write 15.6 and put a line over the 6 because it's repeating. So our final answer is positive 15.6 repeating. Next up are our decimal operations, which we still use those integer operation skills for. But there's a few things we have to remember with decimals. When we're adding decimals and we have positive and negative, we're still going to start with our t-chart. When we see addition, we go straight for the t-chart. We have a positive 2.1 and a negative 4. Because they're on different sides, we're going to subtract. Because we use the t-chart, I can adjust which number's on top. So I'm going to put 4 on top, but when we're adding decimals, we have to remember to stack the digits. Anytime you have a whole number or a number that doesn't start with a decimal, the decimal is always at the end. So 4 would look like this, and then I go ahead and fill in my decimal points and then write the next number. Above this one, I'm going to add a placeholder 0 so that I can do my math, and then we're subtracting these. I can't take 1 out of 0, so I'm going to borrow from 4, make that a 3. 0 becomes 10. 10 minus 1 gives me a 9, and 3 minus 2 gives me a 1. Once I have the digits for my answer, I'm going to look back at my t-chart. 4 is the bigger number, and it is negative, so my answer is negative 1.9. Next up is subtraction. When we see subtraction, we always start by doing keep, add, opposite. So I'm going to get 20.9 plus opposite of 24, which is negative 24. Once it's addition, we're going to draw our t-chart, place those values in the t-chart. They're on different sides, so we subtract. Once again, we have a whole number, which decimal's at the end. I'm going to line up my decimal points here, then fill in the other digits. Above the 9, there's an empty space, so I put 0, and we're subtracting. I then subtract like I normally would, and I get 3.1. My t-chart has the negative value as the greater value, so I'm going to have a negative 3.1 as my answer. Next up is multiplying. When we're multiplying values, if you have a negative and a positive, you could still use Dorito Man, but in this case, they're both positive. So, when we are multiplying decimal values, we always stack the digits. We don't have to stack the decimals. So I can set it up just like this. Then I multiply normally. So 3 times 5 gives me 15. I put the 5 and carry the 1. 3 times 2 is 6, plus 1 is 7, and 3 times 1 is 3. To move from the 3 to the 8, I have to add a placeholder 0 here. Then we're ready to move. 8 times 5 is 40. Put the 0, carry the 4. 8 times 2 is 16, plus the 4 gives me another 20. 8 times 1 is 8, plus the 2 gives me 10. And then I line it up. So I get 5, 7, 3, 0, and 1 as my digits. Then we have to place the decimal. In 125, our decimal is at the end, and there are 0 digits behind the decimal. In 8.3, there's 1 digit behind the decimal. I add these two together, and I know that I'm going to have to move 1 time from the end over to get my answer, which is 1,037.5. And finally, we have division of decimals. Our first number still goes on the inside. Our second number goes on the outside. But if we have a decimal on the outside with our division, we cannot move forward. We have to move this decimal over until this outside number is a whole number, like so. And however many times we move this outside decimal, we also have to move the inside decimal. So on the inside here, my decimal is now at the end, and there's an empty space here, so we add a 0 before bringing our decimal straight up. Then we divide normally. 3 can't go into 1, so I'm going to put a 0 or an X so that I don't get confused. 3 can go into 12 4 times. Then I bring down the 9. 3 goes into 9 3 times. And I have 0 left here, but I still have a digit before that decimal. So I bring down the 0. 3 goes into 0 0 times. I get 0 minus 0 is 0, and I'm out of original digits. So my final answer is 430. Finally, we're going to look at one multi-step word problem together to practice this skill before you work on your test review. For step 1, we're going to read the problem and highlight each part a different color. Maddie goes to Lululemon and wants to buy leggings costing $45.30 and $72.81. She earns $9.50 an hour babysitting. How many hours must she work to earn the money she needs for leggings? The first piece of information we get is about what Maddie wants to buy. She wants to get leggings costing $45.30 and $72.81. The next piece of information we get is that she earns $9.50 an hour babysitting, meaning 1 hour earns her $9.50. We're then going to box what this problem's asking us to solve for. In this case, it's how many hours must she work to earn the money she needs for her leggings. Then we're going to set up our expressions. First thing we need to do is figure out how much money Maddie needs to buy these leggings. To do this, because she's getting 2 pairs of leggings, to find our total, I'm going to add these 2 costs together. I'm always going to start by writing my expression out. Then I'm going to stack my decimals and get started. When I add these together, stacking all of my decimals, I get 118.11. But that's not my final answer, that's just how much total money Maddie needs. Next up is step 2. We're trying to figure out how many hours she must work to earn the money she needs for her leggings. In this case, we know the total amount of money she needs to earn, and if we know our total, and we're trying to split it into smaller increments, like how many hours would get us to that total value, we're dividing. Remember, if we're given the total and you're deciding between multiplication and division, if we know the total, you're most likely dividing. Once we write our expression, we're going to set up our division, and I'm going to write the correct numbers. That would be helpful. 118.11 goes on the inside, and then on the outside I'm just going to put 9.5. Remember those zeros at the end we can leave off. If that's confusing to you, you can always leave it. You will get the same answer. I have a decimal on the outside, and to make it a whole number I have to move that digit once to the right. So I have to move this decimal once to the right before moving it straight up. Then I'm putting 95 into 1. Well, that doesn't work. And 95 also can't go into 11, so we're starting with 95 going into 118, which it can only do 1 time. Then I bring 95 down here. 118 minus 95 is going to give me 3 and 2. I then bring down the next digit, which is a 1. 95 can go into 231 twice. 95 times 2, go off to the side. 2 times 9 is 18, plus the 1 gives me 190. And then I subtract. I get 1, I have to borrow from this 2, that's 13. 41 is my remainder, and then I bring down this one, and I have 411. 95 can go into 411. Well, I don't know off the top of my head, but it could be, let's see, times 4. That's 380. Let's see if 95 times 5 gets us closer, or if it takes us past the point that we want to be at. 475 is too much, so we don't use that one. We're just going to do 4. 4 times 95 gives me 380, so I write that here and look for my remainder, which is 31. Because we're now after the original digits, but we're after the decimal, I can add a 0 here and then bring that down. So now I have 310. I know 95 times 2 gets me to 190, and I know 95 times 4 gets me to 380. So I'm going to check 95 times 3 and see if that gets me close to 310 without going over. It does, so I'm going to put a 3 up here, and then 285 down at the bottom, and then subtract. We can't take 5 away from 0, so I have to borrow from this 1, which turns it into a 0. This 0 becomes a 10, and I get 5. Can't take 8 away from this 0, so I borrow from the 3, making it a 2, and this 0 becomes a 10. 10 minus 8 gives me a 2, and I have a remainder of 25. To save you all some time, we're going to round to the nearest tenth on this problem. So I'm looking at an answer of 12.43. To decide on my final answer, I'm going to look at this last digit here, and 3 is below 5. If this last digit is below 5, it's telling me to stay with whatever's in front of it. If this number is 5 or above, we would round up to the next value of this last digit. So our final answer for this problem is going to be 12.4 hours. Now you're going to listen to your instructions and get a start on your test review. Make sure that you are writing expressions for all word problems, annotating all word problems, and showing your operation steps as you go. If you have questions, write them down, email me, ask them, and you can use the Tutoring Hub or eTime next week to get some more help.